I am coming to you from the middle of Prospect Park, Brooklyn. Normally I am not in the middle of the park. Normally I am walking the 3-mile perimeter of the park. I come here a lot. I muse, I contemplate, I mull over story ideas and thoughts. I ruminate and perambulate. And rumination and perambulation are quite akin to meditation in that they are activities that, in the Buddha's words, go against the stream of our conditioning. In American culture, perambulation and rumination are not high on the list of priorities. We are a doing culture. We are an accomplishment culture. And even if we're not doing and accomplishing, we're at least supposed to feel bad about that. And, my way of working as a writer is, I'm often just filling up notebooks with stream of consciousness writing, or I'm meditating, or I'm perambulating and ruminating in Prospect Park. And that is seen by some people in my profession as an evasion, as a waste of time. You're supposed to just grind it out. And, when I listen to such people, and especially when I see that they are productive people, except they work in a way that I cannot, it leads me to the dungeon of self-hatred. Self-hatred being one of the favorite faces of Mara, particularly in Western culture. Now, who is Mara? Mara as a figure actually predates the Buddha, but he figures pretty prominently in the Buddha's story, particularly on the night of his awakening. Buddha sits under the Bodhi tree, and Mara, who is an anthropomorphization of the three poisons of greed, hatred, and delusion, does everything he can to dissuade the Buddha from experiencing this great awakening. He sends his daughters, this seductive kickline of dancing girls, in front of the Buddha, and the Buddha sits still, remains unmoved. He sends in invading armies, a fearsome sight that would send almost anybody running from the hills, and the Buddha, again, is unmoved. Arrows being shot at the Buddha, and right before they can hit, they turn to flowers and fall right at the Buddha's feet as he sits at the Bodhi tree. Well, Mara has by now exhausted his bag of tricks, so he comes at the Buddha with his last weapon, and it's one of his mind games. He says to the Buddha, "Who are you to think that you can experience this great awakening?" And the Buddha mindfully takes his hand and touches the earth, as if to say, I have gone through innumerable incarnations on this earth, and I have had enough experiences and enough awareness to experience this awakening. And with that, Mara flees. He disappears. Well, the interesting thing is, Mara doesn't stop there even after the Enlightenment. He comes back, according to the suttas, 7 more times. Let me tell you, I have at least daily visits from Mara myself. Mara being the personification of greed, hatred, and delusion. And again, Mara can often manifest as self-hatred. And one of the things that I want to talk about today is this issue of self-hatred as it relates to an experience that I recently had. It was the middle of the night, and I woke up in the middle of the night, so you know how you are in that state. You're extremely vulnerable, and you're extremely vulnerable to the monsters of your mind. And upon awakening in an untimely manner, I reached over and grabbed my iPhone and I checked my emails. And there was an email from Amazon.com. And Amazon.com was featuring its best books of the month in the bestseller category, no less. And, this is always a danger zone for a writer because, envy can be excited very easily within us and in almost no easier domain than this. So I see that this author, we'll call him Paragon, has just released a new book. He released a book last year, too. Paragon is only 3 years older than me. I have one book out. Paragon has 7. And, a couple of them have been nominated for Pulitzers. One, I think, won the National Book Award. I'm not even going to tell you Paragon's real name because I just don't want to hear you say, oh, I love this guy. Because it would excite too much envy in me, and I'm doing a talk on how to transcend envy and self-hatred. So, anyhow, I see this and I'm being racked with guilt, being racked with self-hatred. What am I doing with my life? And look at Paragon. He's the toast of Amazon, and look at me. And I saw where this was going, and I said, why don't we use this as an opportunity for practice? I got out of bed, and I decided to do some metta meditation for myself. I decided to send myself some compassion. And I took my seat on the cushion, and I said, may I be happy. May I be at peace. May I live with ease. May I be well loved. And I repeated those 4 phrases over and over again for some time. And at some point, Mara fled the scene. He evaporated. He came back later. He always does. But there was a powerful moment for me to realize that I had that capacity, just like the Buddha has it, just like you have it. And so I talked to Martin about this over Skype. I told him about this wonderful revelation. And, Martin, gave me a virtual pat on the back for this. And he said, I'm paraphrasing here, Martin. He said, Kyle, it's wonderful that, you employed those skillful means. That was the compassion factor. But there is another factor that you need to employ in such a situation, and that is the wisdom factor. And that would be when you see those wheels churning of the comparing mind. He called it the tyranny of the comparing mind, comparing myself to Paragon. Cut it off. He did it like a samurai with a sword. Cut it off. Don't go into, well, Paragon does this really well, but you know what, I do this so much better than Paragon, or, okay, maybe Paragon has it up on me here, but, I've seen Paragon in cardigan sweaters, and he doesn't wear his cardigan sweaters nearly as well as I do. You don't have to get into that one-upsmanship game, which, by the way, Mara wants for us with all of his heart to play. Instead, cut it off. Well, that was a new one for me. I thought I associated cutting it off with repression, with stemming the stream of consciousness. But no, it's actually a very skillful means. And in future visits for Mara, I have tried and succeeded at times at being mindful of that tyranny of comparison and in cutting it off. So, with that, I'm going to leave you. Thank you for spending time with me. I'm going to perambulate and meditate and ruminate some more, knowing they are not wasted time. They are simply my way of doing things. Thank you for spending this time with me.